Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, thank you, President Van Rompuy, for the report on this important Council. And first of all, I want to start with your last part of your intervention, the Roma issue. And I want to say very clearly, also personally to my colleague of the PPE, that on the Roma question, Mr. Daul, the Commission has acted in the right way. And we have not to criticise them, we have to help them in this fight, I think. And I want to call on the Commission to stick to its point of view, because it's a fundamental question what we are facing today. I think that values are as such important as market rules in the European Union. And it is important that everybody sees also that the Commission is treating every member state equally, small and big member states. On values there is no difference between small and big member states. They have to apply the same rules. So unfortunately it's true that the European Summit has been a little bit hijacked by this issue, but that's happening in politics. And certainly in Europe it's often hijacked by the image of today. And that's naturally a pity, because we have certainly on the issue of economic governance, dear colleagues, no time to waste. We cannot afford to face a new economic and financial crisis without these new instruments on economic governance in place. Because we know a monetary pillar cannot work without an economic pillar. And if you look to the spreads of today, the spreads between the German interest rates and other interest rates are still very high. So we need, the fastest as possible, a package on the table on economic governance, and I hope in any way that the Commission is coming forward, as they have promised on the 29th of September with it. In my opinion, to be credible, because that's the most important thing, this package has to respond to fulfil mainly three conditions. The first is, Mr. President, as you have always defended, that it is not only about enforcing fiscal surveillance, but also about improving macroeconomic surveillance, because that is the lesson of this Greek debt crisis. It is not only about the Stability Pact, it is also about the state of the economy in that country. The second condition is that the package is containing sanctions, effective sanctions. And I personally think that the best way to do it is progressive sanctions. Secondly, a combination of financial penalties and political penalties, not a choice between the one or the other, but a combination of both. And thirdly, that in some cases it can mean also that voting rights are suspended of those who are breaking the rules. That's so in normal life, that has to be also in political life, I should say. And finally, the third condition, in my opinion, Mr. President, is that the trigger has to be in the hands of the Commission and the ECB, because I believe, I've said it already a few times, that surveillance by Member States simply doesn't work. It didn't work with the Lisbon Treaty, it didn't work with the Stability Pact, and it shall not work in the future. We have seen it with Germany and France, who didn't apply the Stability Pact in 2005 and have simply changed the Stability Pact at that moment. That shall happen again in the future. So the trigger has to be in the hands of the Commission, and I hope in any way that on the 29th of September, and then based also on the work in the task force, a credible package is on the table, and of the Council and of the Parliament. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.